The title is an awful day, but it's a great day. Sanji fans are coping, and we got Loki, Harold, and even Shanks lore. Plus, the rat allegations are back. Oda decided to just throw everything in this chapter, and it worked out amazingly. This is the best chapter in ELBAF so far. But before we get into it, let's just talk about the cover story, because is anyone else tired of seeing Yamato having these side quests in Wano? Like, alright bro, we get it. Yamato can eat and she can meet other people from Wano. Let's see what other people are doing, please. But enough of that, let's just get into it. Alright, so we start off with Gaban telling Luffy that the Holy Knights are not immortal. But he gives him no advice. He doesn't explain how to defeat them or uses Conqueror's Haki against them at all. He basically just says, do your best. Like bro, at least give a tip or a hint. But Gaban saying that sparked Loki to say that he can defeat the Holy Knights. He said that he's faced them before, but like bro, that was not facing them bro. You were chained up and you got stabbed. But maybe he means that he's faced them before in the past. So maybe when Harold died, there was a Holy Knight there and he faced one of them? Low-key, I think I'm getting my hopes too high, but maybe we see a Loki versus a Holy Knight in the flashback. Then Gaban says that there's another conqueror on the Straw Hats. We of course know this is Zoro, but this man Sanji somehow thinks it's him. He's over here getting all excited and saying he knew it, just to get completely ignored by his parallel.
What's up, man? What the fuck? Dude, like, come on, be real.
Just came to get a drink, man, with the boys.
A fucking drink. Who are you, bro? Yo, dog, not a pot.
This is what I live for, bro. Finally, I can scroll through Twitter in peace with less Sanji fans yapping about his agenda. And also, Sanji was talking about Zoro and Jinbei as competition. And Sanji fans were saying that Jinbei is not comp for Sanji. But look at this man, bro. Even he himself is thinking of Jinbei as his replacement. And I'm sorry to tell you, Sanji, but yes, you are getting replaced. After Gaban ignores Sanji, he reveals that it's Zoro, and Luffy says that Zoro has been leaking and oozing conquers. But Zoro didn't even know he had it. So if he's doing all of this crazy stuff without even knowing he has conquers, imagine what he does when he finally controls it. But then Gaban tries to get after Zoro for not knowing he had it. Like, who does this dude Gaban think he's talking to, bro? This is why Rayleigh is better. Gaban don't got the status to be talking to Zoro the GOAT like that. But he ignored Sanji, so I'ma give him a pass for that. Then Sanji's over here still trying to drag him being a Conquerors, and he's begging for him to get called a Conquerors. And they have an off-screen conversation. And then we see Sanji smoking a cigarette in acceptance, because in the off-screen conversation, he for sure got told, I'm sorry bro, you don't got conquerors. And now he's just accepting Zoro's better than him. Alright, but now Loki is trying to join the fight. But Harujin thinks he's a rat for the government, so he doesn't want to let him go. So Luffy, doing a classic Luffy move, asks Loki to join the crew. Bro, there's not a single thought behind Luffy's eyes. Like, I would mess with Loki joining the crew, but he is not fitting on the ship. And I believe he's probably just gonna become the king of ELBAF and be an honorary Straw Hat. As expected, Loki says he is not a worker. He's not gonna be an underling for someone else. And yeah, if he joined the Straw Hats, Loki, that would be out of character. Now everybody's getting ready to go back up, but before that, Gaban tells Harujin, release Loki. And then Harujin starts listing everything Loki's allegedly done. He says Loki killed 113 castle guard members, left Rule almost dead, and killed his dad. Loki, I would think to keep him locked up too, bro. I can't even blame Harujin. But then Gaban reveals that him and Shanks were there at ELBAF on that day, and they felt a strange haki. So this is probably why we got that Gaban reaction last chapter to Imu's haki. And Luffy being Luffy, he hears Shanks' name and immediately starts glazing. And Zoro knew what time it was, so he says what everybody's thinking. This dumb Shanks thing again. But now Harujin presses Loki and tells him to give him the real. What happened that day? Now Loki drops the chapter name saying it was an awful day. Wow, cinema. Okay, but we start the flashback, and it starts off with Jarul and Loki being summoned by Harold. They're walking in and Loki just starts calling out his dad, saying that he's a lame government dog. He also talks about the whole peace thing that the Giants got going on and that it's a whole bunch of nonsense. Loki, I think that this whole peace thing is that Imu knows that the giants can be absolute powerhouses. So she probably, or he, they, whatever, made a deal with Harold to create peace times in ELBAF so they don't get too overpowered and they can be weaklings. Alright, but now Loki gets to the gate and some random guard is over here yapping about, I gotta consult with the king first. And Loki isn't having none of that. He just kicks the guard straight through the door and breaks it down, just to see his father getting stabbed by like 10 of his men. But meanwhile, this is all happening. Gaban and Shanks are over here having a fun time talking in the spa. And we see the mark of the abyss on Shanks' left arm. So this man Shanks could have been a whole OG rat. He might have been working for them at that time. And this means that Shanks being the one who talked to the Gorosei isn't completely cut out. Also, the Celestial Dragons could have just summoned Shanks whenever they wanted to. And maybe that's why he was in Marijois at the same time as Harold, as we find out later on. But I mean, maybe Shanks only worked with the Celestial Dragons so that he could get the Gomu Gomu food. And then as soon as he got it, he probably thought, let me kill 2 birds with 1 stone. And that's when he decided to bet on Luffy and also get rid of his entire connection to all the Celestial Dragons and his family and get his arm bit off. Now, all of that is crazy, but we get even more information about Shanks. During their spa chat, Gaban says that Shanks was a child of destiny. And he says a child of destiny, not the. So this opens up a whole bunch of possibilities. Maybe Shanks was supposed to be the one who inherited Roger's will, and he decided that it was not his will to fill, but Luffy's. And if he was a child of destiny, I wonder what other childs of destiny there were. So we just gotta be on the lookout for what Oda does with this. It's crazy that he can still bring up stuff that will surprise us and have us anticipate for it. But now Gaban and Shanks get out of the water and they speak about Harold. Shanks says that he met him when he was at Marijois. So Shanks was doing his little rat activities at Marijois and met Harold. He says that they got along, but they couldn't speak freely in the Holy Land. So he wants to talk to him now before it's too late. And he couldn't have worse timing. He is saying that exactly when it's too late. But I wonder, what was Shanks doing at Marijois that day? Could he have been talking to his family? And do they actually have a relationship? Oh man, I just know the theories are about to go crazy because of this chapter. Alright, but now the king has died and the massacre of the guards is going on. And they say something interesting. They say, let us out who closed the gate. So there is potentially another person at the castle, possibly a holy knight. And we see some haki coming out from the castle, so this could be a holy knight, unless it's Loki. And Elder Jarul just got a sword through his head. And we see a chest that has a forbidden devil fruit passed down from ELBAF. And there was a silhouette of somebody finding it. And it might be a Holy Knight member. And that isn't a completely crazy thought. Because remember, Shanks got the Gomu Gomu no Mi from a government ship. So maybe the Holy Knight member got the Gum Gum fruit, had it on a ship, and then that's when Shanks and his crew raided it. I'm a little confused about how the series of events would go, but it's a possibility. Alright, but now we get Harold's flashback. 109 years ago. And this man Harold is a complete menace. This man looks like Kratos and he's just absolutely terrorizing kingdoms. He's tearing down their castles and stealing their princesses like he's Bowser. I can see where Loki got it from. And the number one question I got is, how did this man, this absolute demon, turn into a guy who wants peace in his kingdom? Imu must have had the craziest blackmail on this man of all time. But that's the chapter, and wow, what a great chapter, bro. From Sanji getting lil broed, to Loki getting asked to join the Straw Hats, to Loki revealing what happened that day, to Gaban and Shanks revealing that Shanks was a child of prophecy and that he was in Marijois, to the king's death, to the forbidden fruit, and now to Harold's flashback. What a peak chapter. And we don't have a break, so this is actually a crazy amazing week. And the next chapter will probably be more of Harold's flashback, or just fully Harold's flashback. So we're gonna see what this man was getting down to. Honestly, I'm not a crazy theorist like that, so I don't even know where we're gonna go after this. But man, am I excited to see what Oda does with all of the stuff he just revealed. That's all I got for y'all today, and see y'all next week.